We start by taking the bales out of the storage area and placing on the teaser bed. Then cut the strings and we collect those tags. The tag gives us the information that we can have a full traceability system. So that tag follows that container. We can then identify where that actually come from, what chemicals have been applied, timing of cutting, quality of hay. So we can put all that together to help us improve our quality and maintain that traceability right from the paddock. And the teaser then goes about teasing the hay or chopping the hay and forming it into a windrow. So the hay is presented in a windrow form, coming from the teaser into the conveyor and feeds the hay evenly into the baler infeed and then into the baler. So the next stage is where the weigh table will trigger a weight, and that weight is 44 kilos per bale. So once we hit 44 kilos, we have a guillotine that stops the flow of hay. Then we have a mouse that comes down and presents that hay up into the pressing chamber. The hay comes in through the baler infeed. The fingers then grab that hay, and the plunger comes through and compresses that hay into a small bale presentation. So once the 44 kilos is presented into the pressing chamber, we have a lift table that lifts it up into onto the second level, and then an in-feed ram that feeds that hay then into the main pressing box. The main ram then comes through and compresses the hay and holds that hay there, and then a pusher ram pushes that out into the strapper. The strapper then places 4 straps around the bale, and then the bale is ejected out of the press and down into the next stage of the operation. The bale then travels through a metal detection system to take out any potential foreign matter that's got into the bale. Then it keeps on going through into a half cutting box, and the bale then is cut in half to take it from a 44 kilo bale back to a 22 kilo bale. That then is an option from the customer whether they want 22 kilo or 44 kilo package. Once it's been through the half cutting box, we then accumulate the bales into packs of 30 bales, and they're unitised together and wrapped up with plastic wrap to be placed then into the container. So the container will be loaded here and then delivered to Bowmans, which is just north of Adelaide. And then from that point it'll be fumigated and then placed on a train to Port Adelaide. So the haymaking process starts back in around about April, and then planting takes place late April during May. We go back and actually roll the paddocks to prepare them for haymaking. We then do a paddock inspection in the year for any foreign objects that could possibly get into the product as well. Then we head into the cutting process, the hay cutting process, which we try and get the hay at exactly the right stage, which is around about a flowering to milky dough. That's all dependent on weather at the time. If we can see a fine window of opportunity of cutting, which needs to be around about 6-7 days of fine weather between rain fronts, we'll cut that down, making sure that we cut it high enough that the hay can actually breathe and stay off the ground. Around about 12 hours before baling, just use a V-rake to just flip the hay over to get a little bit more air into it, to guarantee that all our knots are cured. And then we bale the product between around about 10 and 12% moisture. We individually identify every bale with a tag, and we do a feed analysis on the hay in that paddock, and we do annual ryegrass toxicity test at that stage as well. The hay is then placed into storages on farm. That's all done very quickly, and then from that point it'll come into the processing plant throughout the year.